Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we got to talk all about Grant Gustin because lots more quotes have come out talking about The Flash, talking about certain episodes, but also in yesterday's video, which you guys should check out, he talked about how he wants to return to The Flash, but with a couple of caveats. So go check that video out if you haven't watched it, it's up on the channel right now. But if you do go on to enjoy today's video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. So there is just a couple things I want to talk about before we start this. I want to ask you guys, would you like to see some more facecam videos rather than just microphone? It's up to you guys. Obviously I'm trying to adapt to life after the Arrowverse, so you know, I'm happy to make any changes that are good for you guys, so let me know down in the comments below and any topic suggestions that you want me to talk about, whether it's DC or otherwise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's main topic. We got two articles to break down and it's all to do with Grant Gustin. There is a bunch of quotes that have been released and I'm just catching up on them right now. So we got one article from CBR and one from TV Line. So the title of the first article is Grant Gustin explains how he kept the Flash fresh. So, having played the iconic DC character The Flash longer than anyone else, Grant Gustin has now given insight into how he kept the Scarlet Speedster fresh for so long. Obviously, he played The Flash for 9 seasons and appeared in all the crossovers, and is undoubtedly the most popular Flash comparing to Ezra Miller. He is clearly leaps and bounds above Ezra in terms of what fans thought of him in terms of their specific projects. So the Flash TV show is way more popular than the Flash movie. Obviously, people have their reasons to like each project or maybe not like one so much. But Gustin told CBR at MegaCon, so this quote is coming from MegaCon, which was a convention not long ago, and Grant Gustin was there. There was also like a Superman reunion between loads of Superman like Tyler, Brandon, and Tom Welling. That was pretty cool, that was there. And also, I should mention guys, if any of you guys are UK based or based in Europe, Grant Gustin is coming to the UK in May. It's May 3rd, I believe, when he is coming over. He's going to be at Liverpool Comic Con. You guys can get tickets right now. You can meet Grant Gustin himself. So if you live in Europe or the UK, I highly recommend you. Me, Flashverse, Declan, a couple of us guys from YouTube are going to be going, so if you're there, let us know. And obviously it would be great to meet up with some of you guys and we can all celebrate the Flash, celebrate all these cool actors that are going to be going, and obviously Grant Gustin is the main one. But also I think Nicholas Hoult is coming from Superman. He's playing Lex Luthor, so that would be pretty cool as well. So let's get back into today's main topic. So he told CBR at MegaCon that the show retained its freshness because he took the responsibility of playing the Flash seriously. It was never an intentional thought about how to keep it fresh, Grant Gustin says, and he goes on to say, I'm a very scene-by-scene actor. I wanted to keep it realistic. The only reason I did a decent job on the show is I took it very seriously. Try not to suck, he says. And I can say from personal experience, like going to San Diego Comic Con, Grant Gustin being there with the rest of the Flash at the last Comic Con panel they did in 2019, like I could feel that energy, you know? You always saw him in interviews and the way he talked about playing the Flash, like yeah, it's a very tiring show to do, like being the lead, knowing so many lines and lots of it is very science based, so I'm sure it was a lot on the day to day. But, you know, that's the same with all like acting jobs really, like you're gonna hate it at one point, it's going to get tiring, but if you're a fan of what you're doing, if you're a fan of the material that you're bringing to life, like he clearly is, because obviously he's talked about being a Superman fan and how he liked DC and he basically fell in love with the Flash. And so I think he definitely took on the role very seriously, and he's always been passionate about the Flash, and he still is to this day. He's still going to these Comic Con events, meeting the fans, talking about potentially returning at some point, having more of like a creative role. That's because he cares about the character. If it was someone that did not care at all, why would they ever want to be reattached to anything like this again? So the article continues by saying, late last year, on the 10th anniversary of The Flash's premiere, Gustin reflected on how the role changed his life. the actor reshared a post on Instagram by the popular digital artist Boss Logic, who we all know, with an image of the Flash. He said, 10 years since the first Flash episode aired, wild, changed my life and forever connected me to a character that now means so much to me. Thank you to all of the Flash fans who showed me so much love and support over the last decade. And just to end the CBR article, we got a little bit where Grant Gustin has recalled auditioning for the Flash. And Grant said, it never crossed my mind. I mean, I was 23 when I auditioned for that show, and I thought I had no chance of getting it. I didn't even want to go to the audition, which is actually kind of interesting. Like, me myself, I'm 24 now. Like, I could imagine how intimidating it is when you're like 23 years old, going to a big audition for a big TV show for the lead role. Like, you can imagine, guys. And he said, while talking about Barry Allen, he's big and buff and blonde in the comics. I was just like, why are they even seeing me? I had imposter syndrome about even going to that audition. The idea of, do I want this, never even crossed my mind. Getting to play a superhero someday wasn't even something that I could have dreamed of. So that's what he had to say in regards to his casting. Obviously, it's very true in the comics. He doesn't look like Grant Gustin, but now everyone thinks of Barry Allen as Grant Gustin. He became Barry Allen himself because he had so much personality and everyone loved him, and the way that he acted, he was a great hero, but also he was just a nice character to get to know, to be around as fans of the show. So let's move on to this second article. This is from TV Line. The title of the article is Grant Gustin shares his honest first reaction to the Flash's musical episode Duet. So the 17th episode of The Flash Season 3 Duet aired March 21st, 2017. Like, I remember this night vividly. I remember watching it and being overwhelmed, being like, wow, what an episode. Because you guys know I love Duet. I love the musical crossover with Supergirl, and the Arrowverse crossover obviously had the appearances of many major Arrowverse stars: Melissa Benoist, Jeremy Jordan, John Barrowman, Victor Garber, and other people like Jesse L. Martin, Carlos Valdez, and Glee's very own Darren Criss played the music meister in the episode. And so this article is based off some quotes that Grant gave in the recent episode of Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, and we're going to be talking about that more in the next couple of days. But in the podcast, he mentioned the Flash musical episode, and he said, going into it, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we actually doing this? That was one of his first reactions, which is actually not too dissimilar from Tom Welling's reaction to the proposed musical crossover in Smallville. But Gustin went on to clarify, I never really thought much of anything on the show. I was never like, I don't want to do this, he shares. And outside of suggesting the occasional dialogue tweak, he says, I never considered myself a writer. I never was pitching a different storyline, so yeah, when I saw that we were doing a musical, I was like, feels early, coming as it did in season 3, and that was one of my first thoughts. Now let's break this down. So I have to agree, yeah, it's kind of early in the show, but I will say, as a fan of the musical episode, it was a nice break in a very dark season. Like, you guys remember the Flash season 3, it was Savitar, Iris's impending death, and everything else that was happening in the season. Like, it was super dark. And taking a break, having a little crossover with Supergirl, and having a musical episode harnessing the talents of like an incredible cast who obviously all have musical backgrounds, and seeing them sing and perform and go through this kind of movie musical storyline was just really fun. And I understand why fans of The Flash were a bit like, this was kind of like in the middle of the season, didn't really make sense, like it was out of the blue. But I think overall it works. If you go back, watch season 3, yeah, it's a bit of a change, but it's a great episode, so yeah, it was worth it for sure. But Grant went on to say that given the amount of musically inclined talent living in the Arrowverse, that's why we did it. It was begging to be done. And they list out all the different cast members that were from musical theatre backgrounds, and those of them that have been in Glee, like Grant Gustin, Melissa Benoist, and Darren Criss. Like, it was perfect seeing them all together. So yeah, like Grant says, it was just literally meant to be. Like, they had so much talent, and it was good to use their musical talents as well. Also, Grant Gustin notes that The Flash's Tom Cavanaugh and Supergirl's Chris Wood, both of whom have had Broadway experience, appeared in Duet but didn't get to sing a note. but they did have an impact in the episode, especially Chris Wood. And so he said it was ridiculous talking about the musical talent they had, and while he has not rewatched the episode since out of fear of finding nits to pick amidst a enjoyable experience, people love that episode, which is completely true because I am one of those people. So he said the crossovers tended to be the hardest, most miserable experiences at times, but other times the most fun experiences. And then he says Duet was both. It was one of the most memorable and fun episodes. Yeah, so you have to realize, guys, when they were shooting the crossovers, they were doing like multiple episodes of TV back to back to back, literally hopping from set to set, from different show to different show. Like, that is a grueling schedule that they were doing because they had to shoot so much content in a short period of time. So I understand how that was definitely grueling at times, but if you have fun with like Duet, you know, you can make those crossover experiences a bit more fun, I guess. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Go check out the articles in the description below. Also, I'll leave a link to the podcast that Grant Gustin appeared on. And for now, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. YouTube algorithm things, guys, please do it. Also, subscribe and turn on notifications if you're new around here so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.